Well, the nightmare scenario is upon us. Your teenagers are locked up with you 24 hours a day, like white-collar criminals minus the work release. You knew this day could come, but you really thought it'd be mono or smallpox or scurvy or some other old-timey disease that was unlikely. Instead, you're marooned on a desert island called your home, like the only survivors of the sunken USS Normal Life. Well, your normal life is at the bottom of the ocean, hopefully great coral reef, and here you are. Your teenagers were once small children, but after potty training, the only thing you had to worry about was the occasional barfing in a restaurant incident, or them telling the teacher at school that mommy's been really gassy lately. The cute little cherubs would dress up like princes and princesses for Easter and love everything you got them for Christmas. Then time and hormones turned them into angsty little misery machines that could be set up by almost anything. They could roll their eyes so far back into their head that you wondered if their pupils might make the full circle.
Does that hurt? Looks like it hurts.
Then came the distancing. At first you didn't care that they wanted you to
Drop them off at the school a block away so their friends can't see how lame you are.
the snide remarks about not knowing how important the latest Billie Eilish song was, or that your posts on Instagram all had bad angles, made you feel small. But then you realized two things. First, the stuff they think is important is frequently stupid, and knowing it might push important information out of your brain, so no need to strain. And even attempting to understand their culture might make them think you're lame for trying too hard. Second was the fact that that distance wasn't always bad. It makes the heart grow fonder, and the little monsters could be all teenagery around other monsters sometimes, to spread their wisdom and insight on everything from video games to how mean Julia is. Sorry, Julia, if you're listening, but I'm talking about Julia T, not you. Unfortunately, that distance that fonders your heart doesn't exist anymore. You're with them all day, every day, and you're gonna have to work out relationship issues on your own with your kids, but I want to talk with you about something really serious that your kids are dealing with today: depression. They're not just mopey, they're disappointed, and maybe they're really struggling, or maybe they're winning the battle. But today I'm going to talk to you about 3 things about depression in your teenagers. First of all, understanding the types of depression. Secondly, understanding the cycle of depression. And third, 5 things that you can do to help them overcome depression. And one little bonus idea. Just before I do, let me say this. I'm not a healthcare professional, but I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of students from more than 40 countries and 40 states, and I've spent a lot of time talking to them about the stuff they deal with. I also study this stuff all the time. Maybe more importantly, I have 2 teenagers myself, a 15-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son who is autistic, and we're locked home just like you are. So this stuff comes from a real place. All right, let's get started. I want to talk to you for a second about types of depression, not because you need to know all this, but because it helps a little bit with understanding, because they're different. Like seasonal affective depression is the kind of thing that a lot of us get in the winter. As a matter of fact, Seattle per capita has more suicides than any other place in the United States, and people think it's because they don't get that much sunshine. Come on, get your act together, Seattle. Get some sunshine. I don't know if they can control that. Occasional depression. This is just feeling down. Sometimes you just wake up and you just feel like garbage, right? Emotionally. And it happens, and sometimes it could be because of something that happened the previous day, but it comes and goes. We just call it a bad day. Hormonal depression. Now this one, if you have teenagers, you know all about it. All of a sudden, the little cherubs became monsters because chemicals start running through their body. And it's not just the mood swings, but sadness can be caused. They're not sure how to deal with those things. And those things really do get imbalanced, sort of like emotional growing pains, okay? Situational depression is something where something can be caused by circumstances, rejection, failure, just all different kinds of things. I think we all know how that works, and it's when we're sad, but it lasts a little bit longer, okay? Then there's grief. Grief is a kind of depression that results from loss. We lose a loved one, something like that. And this is something that your teenagers are really going through right now. Not just situational depression, but also through the loss of what they were going through. They had friends that they were seeing every day, so it's a loss of social situations. Some of them are going to graduate from school and they've lost that once in a lifetime experience. All kinds of loss is causing them to have difficulty in this time. Now I want to just say this, there's another kind of depression, and it's clinical depression. And you can think of it as a chemical imbalance if you want, or if you want to talk about all of these things that we talked about, even worse. But if your child is experiencing clinical depression, something they cannot get out of, it's not just a new phase in their life, but it's something that they have been dealing with, and it involves huge mood swings and low lows. You need to get them professional help, okay? You can be part of the solution, but you need to get them professional help, not just emotional help, not just a psychologist or a counselor or somebody like that, but also medical help, okay? Because we need to make sure, as we're learning to deal with this and building other tools, that they are safe and nothing else happens to them. Here's the other thing. There's a cycle of depression, and here's how it works, because it loops back on itself. When you're not doing that well, you react with people and interact with people in a less than cheerful way, right? You're just being kind of ornery to people, and you're not that nice. But what happens is then people react to you in a less than cheerful way. That causes you to say, see, I just knew how it was, everything is terrible, and then you react to those people negatively. It's not just less cheerful now, it's not just a less cheerful version of yourself, but it's negative. And then those people react to you negatively. And this cycle just turns over and over and over on itself. This is where you, as a parent, come in. You have to control yourself to not let this cycle continue, because if you take yourself out of the steps of that cycle and decide that you're going to react like an adult to somebody who is still learning their way halfway in between adulthood and childhood, then you have a chance to stop the cycle dead in its tracks. Okay, here we go. In the last 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you 5 things that you can do with your teenagers, and then one bonus thing. First one is get outside, okay? This is an instant mood changer. It works all the time. You've probably noticed. And here's the important thing, 30 minutes of sunshine. It's essential, okay? And no sunglasses. A lot of people don't know that. The light has to come in through the eyes. Number 2, aerobic exercise. This isn't a quick fix. This is an everyday kind of thing to keep the chemicals going clear, okay? It's a mood changer, but yoga, stationary biking, dancing, basketball, even a brisk walk, 10 minutes at least, and breaking a sweat. Those are the important things. Third one is this. Healthy diet. It really helps, but especially avoid big intakes of trans fats, sugars, and caffeine. Okay, caffeine has a high, but then a low, and you don't want those low lows, okay? Then number 4 is this, sleep, okay? Everybody, teenagers, want to sleep till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but you can't let that happen. You got to keep them on something of a normal schedule. Fine, let them sleep until 10, but figure that out along the way, okay? And no screens before bed, at least 30 minutes before bed. No television, no computer, no cell phone. I know, I'm a monster, okay? And then the last one is this, socialize. You say, wait a second, we're supposed to social distance. It's like this. No. What you got to do is you've got to create the circumstances and situations, okay? If that means setting up a Zoom call for your kids and their cousins or their best friends or the people that are the best influence on them, set those things up. They won't ask for you to do it a lot of times, so you need to do it, especially if they're already in a depressed mood, okay? So you have got to help them, and you can do social distance walking. Go out to a park, sit in the car, and watch them walk around. They can wear masks, they can stay 6 feet apart. Okay, now, I promised you a bonus, okay? The second most famous TED Talk of all times is Amy Cuddy, and she talks about power poses, and she talks about testosterone and cortisol and how those things interact by the way we do things with our body, okay? So this is the first power pose. If you're watching this, stand up and do it with me, okay? You'll feel it instantly. The victory stance, yes, okay? Research has shown people, even people who are blind or seeing impaired, when they win a race, they do that. It's intrinsic to us. It's Rocky Balboa on the steps of Philadelphia, okay? And it changes your mood instantly. And the other one is the Wonder Woman / Superman. I think Wonder Woman is probably cooler now. And you stand like this, arch your back a little bit, stand like this, okay? And you can feel it instantly starting to change the chemicals in your body. It's a quick fix. Do it with them. They'll think you're dumb. They'll think you're lame, but they probably already think that. They're teenagers. You're their parents. So get this stuff going, all right? We're going to keep some more things going for you, and I want to tell you this. If you want to download the information in this guide, go to studentreach.org/uCoach1. studentreach.org/uCoach1, and we will get you not only the resources here, but you'll be aware of everything else that's coming out in the future to help you when you coach teenagers.